Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
Yes. So let's talk about being a highly sensitive person. You mentioned earlier that you are in a process of discovering.
Yes, that's right.
Yourself as a highly sensitive person.
Yes.
Yeah. So what have you discovered?
Yeah, I think fundamentally what I've discovered is that all the things that I put down to trauma are actually just part of how I'm built, or a lot of the things I've put down to past trauma has to do with how I'm built. So intense emotions, tendency to get overwhelmed and overstimulated, and stressed also. All sorts of things that I thought, compared myself, why can't I do as much as other people? Why do I have to take so many breaks? I'm now kind of coming to understand, and as high sensitivity, and it removes a whole layer of self-judgment about some of the things that I experience. Yeah.
It definitely does. Yeah, because what I hear a lot of the highly sensitive people that I help and guide in my practice is that they, have a strong lack of energy and they need a lot of time to recharge, but also time to unwind.
Yeah.
And it's so important to know yourself in that way.
That's right.
Yeah, so how was it for you to discover that, or maybe I should ask it differently, how was it for you to accept that you could be highly sensitive?
It's still in process. It's really so recent, Chung Mei, literally it's been less than a week.
It's been less than a week.
So where I'm going, hang on, that really fits. And there's still a part of me going, no, it's not that. No, really? So I'm still very much in process. And one of my tools actually that I was using anyway is journaling. And I'm journaling a lot about it. And I'm realizing that there's a lot of grief around it having taken so long to come to this conclusion. I mean, I'm 60 now. I've spent a long, long time thinking, oh, this isn't okay. And it's because of old trauma, when actually it's just part of who I am. And trying to fix it when it's not fixable. But there's still a part of me it's getting smaller with the days, that's doubting it. And that's also resisting it, I don't want this, why is this me? But then actually I'd much rather have this than go, it's all trauma that, yeah. So.
And you can also look at it in a different way, because for example, when someone knows in an earlier stage of life that they are a highly sensitive person, it's still very complex and difficult because, we all deal with trauma.
Yeah.
So if you find out that in your 20s that you are HSP, but still at the same time you go through a severe breakup with your boyfriend or girlfriend of, I don't know, maybe 10 years, then oh no, that's not possible, right? When you're in your 20s. Or maybe.
You might have been with someone since school.
Since school, yes, for example. And then they also noticed, for example, that they can't sleep or they are easily bothered, frustrated. And the combination of that is that it's way more intense for a highly sensitive person to go through a breakup because they can sense so much more, in their bodies, but also through their senses, that how awful it is to lose someone or to go through, this breakthrough.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think in every stage of life,
it's never easy. It's never easy.
Yeah.
And I suppose on the plus side, at my age, and because I'm a therapist, because I just really like to be busy with tools and my own inner work, and a lot of that involves how do I calm my nervous system. I've done a lot of the work already for HSP, and what this is doing is just putting it in context.
That's right. It has a name.
It has a new context. The context before was, this is something I have to fix. Now it's simply something I need to manage.
Yes.
And I already do quite a lot. and I need to accept it 100% rather than still fight it.
That's
a
right.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in process. That's my process right now, and it's very new. So,
Yes. But going back to what you previously said, it's also a plus that you have gained so much experience in self-care, right?
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
And it's just underlined it for me that actually I really have to do this. I mean, I knew anyway, and I'm quite good generally at going, okay, now I need a break and I need to go away or whatever. But it's almost like it's made it even more important, and to not really go beyond my boundaries. I try not to anyway, but this has made it even more important.
Yes, that's interesting. And let's dive a bit deeper in being a highly sensitive person. There are people who see themselves as introverts and extroverts, but there's also a new category, and that's the ambiverts.
Okay.
And that's a combination between being an introvert and an extrovert. And then you also have high sensation seekers. So how do you see yourself in terms of personality?
Well, I'm an introvert in the sense that I really need my alone time very much, and that I find it tiring eventually being around people. But I do have visibly, a lot of people would call me an extrovert because I'm quite sociable and I'm not shy, and I'm quite happy doing this and just ad-libbing and whatever. I've been pondering about the high sensation seeker. So maybe that's an ambivert, I don't know, but
yes.
I've been pondering a bit about the high sensation seeking. I think I like intense experience to a certain extent, but I don't like to live my life intensely. So I guess I like discrete sensations. It needs to have a beginning and an end. I don't want, but my life needs to be slow. And I'm still, I think, trying to find a way to make it slower than it already is. And I think this realization of being HSP is probably part of what's going to be the kick up the bum.
I know, and it also makes it easier to choose for the activities, but also for the environment in which you flourish as a person.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It just really, it's given me more context and fundamentally a big relief to realise, okay, this is what's going on. And better late than never, I guess.
That's right. And what I found interesting is that you also mentioned that you get bored easily with people who don't process stimulation in a very in-depth way, or could you elaborate on this?
Well, I don't know about the processing stimulation. It's more about reflective. I like people who people I can connect with, and those people, I'm noticing a lot of my friends are also therapists. And there's something that I need the depth of connection and the depth of conversation in a very real way. And I get really bored with the mundane. I can do it for a little while. How are you and how's your job and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I really want to talk about how people feel and what's going on really.
Yes.
Really going on. And of course, I'm now realising that's very much an HSP trait.
So HSPs make for good therapists, right?
I think probably are attracted to that work, because of the depth that we go to.
Yes.
And of course not everybody can go there, but I'm noticing now that I've kind of got this new pair of glasses on, the HSP glasses, I'm realising probably most of my clients probably are somewhere in the HSP area also. And it's interesting, I was listening to Elaine Aron, who identified this, say that 20 to 30% of people are HSP overall, but actually probably most of our clients in psychotherapy are HSP, and that's why they've come also. They don't know it. I mean, crikey, I've had therapy for 35 years. Nobody at any point has said, maybe you're HSP, so until my current sort of therapists that I'm working with, and even then it's been more subtle than that.
That's interesting, right? Because it should be more known.
I know, absolutely. You know, I'm part of all these email networks for therapists. They're all talking about neurodivergence all over the place. Not one mention of HSP. I'm like, what the hell? You know, this is such an, you know, if 20 to 30% of human beings are HSP, and it's a common character trait, surely this is something that therapists need to be aware of.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.